Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
And we welcome you and glad you're along for the ride on this Wednesday afternoon. Our Wednesday is always brought to you by our friends at Coyle Fence Company. Coyle & Sons Fence Company, the best in the business. I can promise you that. And we appreciate them being part of our program on a regular basis. Frangie and Carline LaSelva with you as we get going here on a Wednesday. Scrimmage tomorrow. I think it's going to be good scrimmage tomorrow.
I do too.
I think it's going to be a very real scrimmage tomorrow.
I think it's Thunderdome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. So I'm looking. This will be the practice, other than the Friday night mock game. This will be the practice I'm probably most looking forward to of all the ones we've had.
I would agree. The first day in pads is always fun, but you know it's still going to be, yes, they're in pads, but it's not like they're going to kill each other the first day they're in pads. So, yeah, they've settled in, and it should be physical, particularly if the plan is to not play starters against New Orleans. Then I think it's got the potential to, again, to be 40, 50 snaps where it's ones versus ones. Not live, obviously, but certainly with a substantial thud involved in every play. So I think it's got a real chance to almost be the crescendo of camp. And it's like, let's have a physical practice Thursday. Now it has to go well.
Right.
If it doesn't go well, then if you're Liam Cohen, then I think you got to play them Sunday in the Superdome. But I would dangle the carrot out there of, look, guys, if I see what I need to see Thursday, you guys aren't going to, the key guys here, you're not going to have to suit up Sunday in New Orleans.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. My guess is they'll play. You'll see a series or so in New Orleans from the starters. But that notwithstanding, and we'll see if that's right. I don't know if that's right. But that notwithstanding, tomorrow could be fun. Tomorrow could be because what we do know is we're getting close now. We're getting close. There's two more games whether they play or not. There can't be a whole lot. There can't be a lot of physical practices left. Let's assume yesterday, by the way, was a really good practice from everybody I talked to. Tomorrow will be a scrimmage, a real scrimmage. There will be, I would think, a very spirited practice with Miami next Thursday. The one joint practice they only have one, and that'll be next Thursday. So I would think, but that would be so you're kind of winding to an end of your time of physicality, because then you're 2 weeks away from playing games that count.
That's the thing. You're now starting to get into the window where you're not just worried about a torn ACL, a torn Achilles, a labrum, something that is going to, be a season-ending injury. You're now within the window of an ankle sprain will really start to dip into the regular season. Like, you get a high ankle sprain now, 24 days from the opener, you're missing time. If you get a hamstring, you're probably missing time. And so I think Liam Cohen and his staff will be very cognizant of that. Is, you've now sort of graduated this process to, you need to be mindful of these things. You're now close enough. And again, a hot start is paramount for every NFL team, obviously. But when you're a first-time head coach with a first-time GM and a first-time EVP and a young roster, you need it to go well early. You need to beat the Carolina Panthers and get off to that good start. And the last thing you want is for your inactives to come out at 11:30 that Sunday morning when you're 90 minutes away from Carolina and you've got 6 of your key guys are inactive because of injury. So I would go hard tomorrow. And then, against the Dolphins, obviously, you're going to have, there's going to be some physicality involved in that, but that'd be about it. And I wouldn't play them against New Orleans if the starters on both sides of the ball show me tomorrow that they've done a better job with their assignments. They're more locked into their fundamentals. The penalties are at a minimum, and it's a pretty offense, defense each has their moments, but it's because they did something to earn that moment. It wasn't handed to them. If I was Liam Cohen, I'm not sure I'd put him out there against New Orleans. New Orleans is terrible anyway. And it's a road game. It's just, there's a lot of things that go into it that I don't know that it's worth the risk of putting them out there live against the Saints. And now being 20 days away from the start of the season.
So we'll talk a little bit about the scrimmage tomorrow. Players to watch, movers, shakers, positions of concern, positions you're happy with. We'll certainly get to all that coming up. So more Jaguar talk coming up. We're going to start the program in a little bit, though. John Gruden won his lawsuit, or certainly won the first step of his lawsuit. And Brett Hastings we're going to call him. He's not going to be in studio, but Brett, by way of phone, our Sports in Courts coming up is really interesting. I mean, where is this thing headed? I mean, he's suing the NFL, right? I mean, what I mean, has anybody ever successfully, like, really not taken down is the wrong phrase, but sued one of these pro leagues to where things change? I mean, what's the most?
The only thing that pops into my head would be Kurt Flood for getting free agency.
Great call. You know what? Great call. That might be the number one. For people that don't know, it's a really good call. Kurt Flood, a St. Louis Cardinals center fielder, did not believe his rights should always belong to the same team. There was no free agency before. Once someone had your rights, and in this day, that's a great call, Hayes. But in this day and age, people don't realize. Once upon a time, up until the 70s, that was in the 70s, I would imagine. Once you belong to a team, you belong to a team for life. They could trade you. And if you didn't come to contract terms, you didn't play, but you didn't go play for someone else, you belong to that team. And Kurt Flood said, look, when my contract's over, I should be able to go play wherever. And it was a gigantic, Andy Messersmith was right behind him then. But it was a gigantic deal. And Kurt Flood said, I'll sit out, I'll sue, I'll do whatever I have to. But it's my opinion that my rights should belong to me. And when my contract's over, I could play for whoever. And that's a great call. That's a suit that changed sports, didn't it? Not just baseball. When did football start? Was it the 90s?
Reggie White, so that would have been
the 90s.
Yeah, like late 80s, early 90s. I mean, Reggie White was the first massive football free agent.
But football did not have free agency until like the 90s.
Correct. Yeah. It's definitely been
about that
in my life as a sports fan that it happened.
Think about that. In the mid 80s, you were, if you belonged to a football team, you belonged forever.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's remarkable. In the same fashion that 40 years from now, people that'll be doing this, working in sports media will be like, can you believe that college athletes used to not get paid? That all they got was tuition and board and their meals?
Right. I'll be 106 then. You think I still may have my A
You'll
game.
be in your prime.
I'm not leaving.
Yeah. I'm going to be on an island by that point, hopefully. But you'll be in your prime.
What else am I going to do?
Yeah.
What's Frangie going to do? He'll do a show. And what is he going to do? So, but you're right. The Kurt Flood's a good call. But anyway, we're going to talk to Brett in just a minute. John Gruden, he's going to take us all through the lawsuit. What is the lawsuit? What was he suing? What does it mean that he won, at least in the state of Nevada? And what's the next step? So that comes up in just a bit. Other things we're going to talk about. We will talk about players to watch in this scrimmage because I think it's a scrimmage of significance. I'm also going to go through some college football programs and wonder, are they back? Are they coming back? Are they fading? Can they come back? I got about 10. I mean, Auburn's won a national championship. Auburn had undefeated season where they almost won a national championship. Auburn another season where had they not lost to FSU when Rashad Green made the great play, they would have won that national championship.
They were the SEC team of the 80s.
They were the team of the 80s with Bo Jackson and others. Will they ever be back?
I think so.
But it's an interesting topic. It really is.
And they are a perfect school for that conversation because they are so inconsistent.
That's right.
And they are obviously the second most talked about program in their state.
Well, but if you ask correct. If you ask about prominent programs, the blue-bloodedness of a program, if you went in the SEC and you include Texas and Oklahoma, I'm not sure they're top 10. They're borderline top 10, maybe borderline top 8. I'll say that, right? Let's go. I'll tell you what. I'll bet they're 8th at best if you count Texas and Oklahoma in terms of heritage. So we'll have some fun with some programs. So a lot of fun stuff to do. So glad you're with us on the program. Do want to thank our friends from Coyle & Sons Fence Company. When we come back, it's Sports in Courts. Brett Hastings jumps in. What's next for the John Gruden lawsuit? This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hayes Carline is our special agent. He goes into the locker room to uncover insights about your favorite football team. His mission is to bring it back to you on 1010XL. Special ops support by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Oh, interest rates. They're high everywhere, aren't they? Not at Beard's Diamonds. Right now, they've lowered finance rates all the way down to 0. Hey, Hicken here. That's right. Now Beard's Diamonds pays 0 down and get 0 interest financing for 5 whole years. So that $12,000 designer engagement ring is yours now for just $200 a month. Man, this amazing offer makes everything affordable. How about a $6,000 diamond eternity band, $100 a month? How about a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings? $50 a month. It's insane. Make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 down and 0 interest financing. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, colored gemstone jewelry. Let the non-commission experts at Beards help you find the perfect piece of jewelry and take advantage of our best financing offer ever. I'm talking Beards Diamonds. I'm talking in the St. John's Town Center. This amazing offer ends August 31st. Shop local. Shop Beards.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 13, 2016, Michael Phelps ends his prestigious career at the Rio Olympics, winning his record 23rd gold medal.
Big Chief Tire is always looking for ways to better serve the Jacksonville community we call home. Frangie here. Starting Monday, June 16th, they're opening their 6th shop location in Mandarin, providing more Jacksonville residents with a locally owned auto repair business they can trust. Visit the new shop on San Jose Boulevard today for all your vehicle needs, including brake repair, new tires, and more. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, or Beaver Mitsubishi in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pool. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Your doctor says your testosterone is normal. Normal for who? Beta males? That's where those lab ranges come from. Male Excel uses optimal levels, where you were at 25, not where outdated mainstream medicine thinks you should be. Our protocol is different. Daily dosing, multiple hormones, personalized to your body, not some insurance company's spreadsheet. This is precision medicine, not sick care. Try MaleExcel.com, free test. Stop being normal. Start being optimal.
Got a leak or a clog? Or are old galvanized pipes causing low water pressure? At Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, we don't just fix plumbing issues. We solve them for good. And unlike other plumbers in the area, Superior Plumbing and Pipelining will never charge you to diagnose a problem. From simple plumbing repairs to trenchless pipelining, our estimates are free. And we can reline your cast iron pipes without making a mess of your yard. You have many choices for plumbing work. Make the superior choice. Superior Plumbing and Pipeline. Request a free estimate at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now time for Sports and Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
All right, our buddy Brett Hastings joins us. He is our legal consultant, as you know. Does a great job with Sports and Courts. He and I have been doing this together for many, many years. Brett, welcome aboard. This one's interesting now. Not that they all aren't. You've done a great job of coming up with topics. But John Gruden is in the process of successfully suing the NFL. Can you give me, from 10,000 feet, a big overview of what his claim is and where this thing is headed?
All right. So if everybody remembers, there was an investigation into the Washington Commanders. And when they were doing that investigation, they found emails that they claimed were racist and, inappropriate as it related to John Gruden. And they just released them. He believes that they selectively, released those to purposely damage and hurt him. And that essentially the league put pressure on the Raiders to then get rid of him, right? And he couldn't get any endorsement deals, and he's been outside of coaching. What's really interesting about this legal precedent is, so at the time, he sues in the state of Nevada. Initially, when he files the lawsuit, the NFL says, well, we have an arbitration clause, and you've got to go to arbitration. The trial court judge said, no, he's no longer an employee. The clause wasn't specifically in that contract, and he can't be bound by the NFL's constitution that says everything should go to arbitration. NFL appealed it to an appellate court. They agreed with the appellate court, and now he went to the Nevada Supreme Court. And the Nevada Supreme Court said, hey, the trial court judge got it right. The NFL this is not going to arbitration. This is going to take place in the courts of Nevada. And so the precedent that's important is really everything that goes on with the NFL goes by way of arbitration. But here, the Nevada Supreme Court says he's not an employee at the time that he filed the lawsuit. He wasn't under the contract and made some really strong findings. There's a thing called unconscionability of contracts where it's just you say this is just so not right. And what the Nevada Supreme Court said is, the Constitution and all the power that the NFL likes to exert, they can amend and change at will, and the other party doesn't have any input into that. So they said that's not fair, so you're going to get a fair tribunal. Roger Goodell doesn't get to decide this actual case, and to do everything else, the state of Nevada will.
So what does the NFL do now?
They have said that they're going to rehear. They'll lose this rehearing. And then it's going to go forward in the state courts.
All right. So now
you mean the U.S. Supreme Court?
If you can appeal it, but it doesn't mean that they're going to take it.
Okay. So it goes. This moves forward in Nevada court, right?
Right. So in
State.
Nevada, in the next 10 days, they file for what's called a rehearing. Right. They're going to go back to the same court that 2 days ago said this is the ruling, and that court's going to say no. So what Hayes is saying, could you go to the United States Supreme Court? You could. You could say this is of great public interest. I don't know that the United States Supreme Court will decide that this is of great public interest. Yeah. There is the potential that it could go to the United States Supreme Court. But in the interim, this is going to continue to go forward in Nevada.
Now, as it goes forward in Nevada, so as this thing continues to move forward, Gruden's original claim was that the NFL deliberately leaked disparaging emails he wrote, which is what crippled him in terms of getting another job. So this is a civil case but it moves forward. So the whole arbitration thing's out the window. Let's say they don't win the rehear, to your point.
Right.
So now it's got to go to state court. If he wins, because coaches make tens of millions of dollars, what could the damages be here, Brett? I mean, they could be exorbitant, I would think. If
they could be exorbitant, and we have a thing called punitive damages, right? And so, the allegations that he's bringing are really tough to prove. I'm not sure in Nevada, but, when you prove civil conspiracy or, essentially intentional torts, there's a higher level of proof. But what comes with that are typically punitive or treble, which is triple damages, right? So if you say, hey, if I would have kept coaching, you bring in somebody that would, testify and an economist and all that. And you'd say, hey, I would have expected to, probably coach, 3 to 10 more years. The average coaching salary is $8 million. So we would say, we'd have $30 million there. And then if you could prove these types of charges, get punitive damages, get treble damages, you could talk 10, 15 million. You could talk 45, 60 million.
So I mean, realistically, excuse me, Hayes, let's say you can prove that today a coach of Gruden's stature could make $10 million a year.
He was making that.
Yeah, he was making 10. Okay. So he's making 10. So that's the proof. He was 60, I think. He wasn't 80. So and now you got 70-year-old coaches coach. The Raiders now have a 70-something-year-old coach. So if he could prove that this is a $100 million loss for him by times 3, this thing could be $300 million, right, Brett? I mean that's
Right.
kind of my point. That is a massive lawsuit.
Yeah, there's that potential. I think the other thing that's really compelling about this is the way you go about proving you singled me out is to go get all the other bad emails for other coaches that weren't leaked, right? To go find out what other evidence is out there and say, hey, so-and-so, and I don't know this, but, Andy Reid said something horrible, or John Harbaugh said something horrible, or whatever it is, and the league knew about it, and they knew about it at the time of this investigation, but, lo and behold, they singled me out. And so the type of discovery that you're going to want to go get in this case is exactly what the NFL doesn't want out there. And the NFL loves arbitration because arbitration proceedings aren't open. They're not – everybody can't go out there and check into it. You can't go and sit in the hearings when they take place in Las Vegas or wherever these things go and when you fight over discovery. So the potential for that information to get out there is out there as well. These are still really tough allegations to be able to prove, but I would think that, the likelihood of success obviously went up a lot here, and there are now some really compelling reasons that the NFL may want to engage them and settle it sooner than later.
Well, and that would be the concern, I think, Brett, is trying to settle it, but trying to settle it with somebody who is a multimillionaire already in John Gruden, and B, really does seem to be fighting for his personal integrity and his future in the business. Like, he needs, in his mind, to settle it. I'm sure that's fine as long as there's something in there where he gets some sort of protection or the NFL makes some sort of contrite apology that, that his emails were taken out of context, something that enables him to have a redemption in his career. Because if he's dead set on the principle of this thing, I mean, the last thing the NFL wants is this to go to trial and be open for discovery and things like that, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And especially, I mean, is the NFL the most profitable sports organization in America? No doubt, man. Do they have fantastic lawyers? No doubt. But I think one of the criticisms of them is that they do love to control everything, right? I think the biggest thing to really happen in the NFL was in the last couple of collective bargaining agreements, the players' preoccupation on being able to make sure that money didn't go to rookies and went to the other guys. We've really got a system that, I mean, it's just completely run by the commissioner. It's not really fair. And, hey, come on, arbitrate with us. I'll tell you what the result's going to be. So, I really think the NFL, who wants to control everything behind closed doors, would want to try to go in and get this resolved because, sort of part and parcel with this, because there's a racial component, and it was one of the things that I know Gruden's camp has pointed out, that there's a lot of hypocrisy in the way that coaches get hired, right? And that, they go through these hoops, but we already know we're hiring so-and-so or what's going on. And so, that's one of the things that I think Gruden wants to sort of expose through the lawsuit. Like, hey, I'm not a racist. These comments weren't good, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on with the league that's not good.
Final thing. Could this, I don't know, you can't settle because the league can't hire you as a coach. A team can hire you as a coach. But could the agreement be the middle ground here? He gets another job in the NFL. I mean, could that, you know what I mean, Brad? Again.
I mean, if my client came to me and that's what he really wanted, right?
Yeah, right.
And we could say, hey, we got if we, the right day, line up everything, we could go get this massive judgment, or you could forego, all of this discovery and these other things, and you guys could pay us something, right? Yeah. But we want to be back in the league. We want to have an opportunity. I don't think you could go force, the agreement couldn't be like, the Jacksonville Jaguars got to fire Liam Cohen and hire John Gruden, right? But I do think there would be discussions between the parties that may not be memorialized in the agreement, but assurance is given to say, hey, look, if somebody wants to hire you, you can come back and you're going to have our blessing. Because, that is what Gruden's saying. Gruden's saying all these other owners right now aren't going to hire me because they know that Goodell doesn't want me to be hired.
Interesting stuff. Brett Hastings, this is great work. A very interesting story, and it will just continue keeping on. John Gruden versus the NFL. That is Sports and Courts. Brett, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Take care. Bye.
All right, Brett Hastings, that is Sports and Courts. What do you think of Gruden? How do you feel about Gruden?
I think I like John Gruden, but I think he's a little too much of a character now than a serious football coach. And I do think offensively, the game has jumped leaps and bounds. In the 5 years that or so that he's been out. So I'd have concerns. I think John Gruden's on the right track with becoming a college coach. I think
I was going to ask you that.
Perfect for that. I think with his energy, his experience, the fact that you don't have to worry about the fact he hasn't been recruiting for 40 years because now it's going to be basically highest bidder is going to get the player. You put John Gruden with an SEC team, and I think magic could happen. But I don't really like him as an NFL coach.
You're
anymore.
one step ahead of me. He's made the point he'd like to do college. He's kind of said that on his Barstool stuff, that he'd like to do college. You're one step ahead of me. I was going to say, okay, he's 61. Billy Napier gets off to that bad start and gets fired. John Gruden's your next coach, good or bad? You're a Florida Gator.
It wouldn't be my first choice. I would want to go after Kiffin, Brom before.
Guys doing it now.
Okay. So I'm not ruling it out. I don't think that's the kind of job that John Gruden's going to get, but I do think he could get kind of similar to what I was saying about Jimbo yesterday. I think a nice B+ level job is what John Gruden could expect to get.
I think Jimbo would be a better candidate because he's done it at the college level. But I think Gruden, if not the Florida coach, because I think if John Gruden got cleared of all this and the word was out he wanted to get back in it, and Billy Napier's fired, I'm not sure John Gruden gets the job. I don't know if I see Scott Strickland and John Gruden, two guys that think similarly. Scott's very sedate. Scott's a very, not that Gruden's not a family guy, but he's not edgy. Gruden is, to your point, he's not a caricature of himself yet, but he's headed there. But I will tell you, if the word is out that he's cleared of whatever, and now people are going to start looking at him, Billy Napier gets fired, I promise you he's going to be on those lists you see on SportsCenter. When you see the 4 or 5 names, when you see Kiffin's name, you see Jed Fish's name, you're going to see John Gruden's name's going to be on that list, which would be very interesting. We'll see. All right, we'll take a break. More things to talk about. I want to make a point about college football when we come back. Did you see the gift the booster gave at Kansas?
Yeah.
David Booth.
$300 million.
$300 million. $300 million. I mean,
that's more than I'm giving Florida Victorious.
Barely, but more, if we're being technical. Is there any other walk of life where grown men, grown people give that kind of money, not to cure cancer, not to help somebody find jobs, and I'm not criticizing, but not for research, to help their football team win more football games? It's an amazing paradigm if you think about it, and it only exists in college sports
or politics.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, well, but politics.
There's people that give hundreds of millions to political candidates.
But you're kind of affected by that. If I give hundreds,
you're doing that because you want to get something out of it.
Yeah. Isn't it this? You want your football team to do well?
You want them to win.
But I'm saying, just to Frank's point, I get where you're
money,
going
like
with this.
financially, probably.
Yeah, it's just a little, I think, frivolous is what you're saying. If you're going to give $300 million to something,
you want something in return.
Maybe try and make the world better, not beat Iowa State.
Yeah.
But
I'm not criticizing.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's capitalism, and he's made the money, and he can spend it as he wants.
People giving money to politicians aren't doing it to make the world better.
Yeah.
But
they're doing it to make their world better.
The political comparison's a good one. That's a good call, JJ. I hear you. I hadn't thought about that.
But there's always
but they get something out of it.
Correct. Yeah. Whether that's their business or their ideology.
I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Interesting. But
I thought it was stunning.
We'll talk more about that in a minute. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret, Dandy is never frozen. Always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses. No dry, crumbly subs here. Only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little guy with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand and a quality sandwich. So do what I do. Stop in at a Circle K and make yours a Dandy today.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Football season is here, so I've got to get organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, wherever that clutter has taken over. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off this month only. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Leonard Skinner is coming home, and they're bringing the Stars and Stripes. Celebrate Southern rock and American pride with Leonard Skinner Rocks the Red, White, and Blue. It's a special night to support St. Michael's soldiers and the brave men and women of our armed forces. Singing songs about Southland. Saturday, November 8th at Daly's Place. Tickets on sale Wednesday, August 13th, only at Ticketmaster. DailysPlace.com for details. Be there when Skinner rocks for those who serve.
The coolers are full at your local Gate gas station, making it easy for you to cruise in and cruise out with little downtime. Ice cold Coronas, Natty Lights, Stella Artois, and Michelob Ultra. And don't forget the king of beers, Cold Buds. Gate's got them in the cooler, waiting for you.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it, too.
Coyle & Sons do the best in the business. My goodness, they've done a good job. Love my friends from Coyle & Sons Fence Company. They're really, really good at it. They've done so much fencing for us. At our Bregan Baseball Complex, they did that brand new, that beautiful batter's eye back there, and people love it. They love the way the Bregan Complex looks. It's the best place to play baseball. And they're going to be doing a lot of fencing for us at the Bregan Baseball Complex, too. I can promise you that. So if you are looking for fencing of any kind, whether it's residential, whether it's commercial, overhead doors for your business, overhead garage doors, bathroom partitions. They do so much, and they do a great job. My friends at Coyle & Sons Fence Company, they're really, really good at it. So stop by and see them today. Give them a call at 904-356-4821. I want to get back to this David Booth thing for a second. He gave $300 million. $300 million. And whereas that's the biggest number ever recorded, it's not unusual for these boosters to give money. Gary Condren, the Jacksonville guy, I'm told is giving $30-40 million to Florida. Ben Hill Griffin gave way back in the day that kind of money. Alabama's got that guy. Texas has got that guy. Those guys are everywhere. And the numbers might be off, but you get the point. Gary Condren loves the Gators, so he gives them a bunch of money. Ben Hill Griffin, Gail Lemoran, loved the Gators, gave him a bunch of money. Pick whatever school it is, pick your school, and there's a lot of money that they have given to their schools for sure. I got to tell, and there's even movies about it. I mean, the Johnny B. Good movie with Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah,
it was all,
young Uma Thurman.
Yeah, yes, it was. But I mean, all those movies are. All this. That's the storyline is real, and I love that they do it because I love college football. I love it, but I've got to be honest. I don't think even if I was a quadrillionaire, I don't think that's where I'd put my money is to help a football team win games. Now, if I could help young people be successful in life, heck, that's what we do with walk-off charities, and I'm very proud of that. And I ask people for money all the time to do that, but it's not to help a team. And I'm don't get me wrong, Hayes, I'm not criticizing anybody that does it. I love college football, and I love the booster influence, and I love the fact that we've had so much joy watching college football over these years, all these years, that we wouldn't have had without those boosters paying that money. So this isn't a criticism. I just don't think I would do it. It's a very interesting paradigm. I guess that's kind of the point.
Yeah, I see it from the other side. I would do it because, and I sort of woke up to this with Florida's run to the title in basketball. The experience enjoying those games with Jackson and my son was unbelievable. And, obviously my wife tweeted out my wife videoed us, as Florida won the game. So you kind of got a slice of what it was like in our house when Florida won the national title. And to have that excitement with him and to have that, that moment, it's really the first time Florida's done anything of significance in his young time as a sports fan. And so once I had time to sort of absorb it, it was like, why wouldn't I give to this if it brings this kind of joy? And I will be the first to admit, I get it. It's frivolous. But it is who I am. It's, to me, having that moment with my son, if I can help lead to more moments like that, then I'm going to do it. And I obviously on a much, much, much greater scale, I would assume that is probably the vantage point of this gentleman who just, what does he love in life? He probably loves when Kansas gets a big win and he can celebrate it with his friends and family. And, so I kind of get it. I sort of get it. If you're a diehard sports fan, there aren't that many other things in life, and I get it. This is sort of a sad indictment, but it is the truth. I don't know that there's anything else in life that gives me that moment with my son, like seeing something great happen on the athletic field or court. You know what I mean?
I 100% know what you mean, and I love your position on it. Yeah, my position isn't the correct one; it's just one. I will never criticize someone for that. And if you were a billionaire, and if giving X million to your school gives you the joy, that's your right. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I am not critical of it. I just don't know that's where I would go with it. Now look, we'll never know because we're not going to be quadrillionaires.
Right.
Maybe I would feel differently if I had that kind of money. I think we all.
Again, the fact that he gave $300 million to Kansas doesn't mean he didn't give $300 million to cancer research.
Absolutely, yeah, because 100%. Again, don't take my comment to think, why would he do that when he could have done this? That's not at all that's a great point. In fact, I'll bet he has.
Yeah, he signed a pledge to give half of his wealth to philanthropy.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that doesn't surprise me at all. He's probably a very good man that helps a lot of wonderful causes. I just got thinking about it. It's just a crazy, interesting arrangement that people give that much money to help their schools win games.
He loves Kansas, so in 2010, he bought Dr. James Naismith's original 1891 copy of the 13th Basic Rules of Basketball for $4 million at an auction house, and he donated the whole thing to the University of Kansas.
I mean, Boone Pickens loved Oklahoma State so much. I've told this story before. We were back when we started our TV production company 20-some years ago. Well before everything was online, we produced these videos, an actual TV show that looked like SportsCenter, but it was really just Oklahoma State or Illinois or Alabama or Florida. We did a bunch of them videos, and we would sell those to the schools for either $25,000 or $50,000 for a season or whatever it was, or $50,000 total, whatever. And we'd ask the school to pay for it so they'd have a recruiting video better than anybody else's. Well, now everybody's got it. But back then, you didn't have all these video departments. What we produced was kind of better. And I can remember Larry Fedora was at Oklahoma State. He introduced me to Mike Gundy. I flew to Stillwater. I flew to Oklahoma State. He drove to Stillwater. I pitched it to him. I said, we're looking for $50,000 from Boone Pickens. We're looking for $50,000. He said, yeah, we love that. We think that'll help us. And then we aired it all over Fox Sports Southwest. So the Oklahoma State, again, before they had their own thing, we were doing that show for them. And Mike sat in Mike Gundy's office. Mike said, yeah, you know what? I like it. He said, let me have Boone's office contact you for $50,000 to him. Yeah, and I can still remember we got the check. I think I've told the story. I got the check made out to our company. It said Boone Pickens. It didn't say address, phone number. There was no routing. It just said Boone Pickens. I'm like, okay, Boone. I guess it's good. So we deposited it and it cleared. I mean, we just got it. It just said Boone Pickens. And so, but again, $50,000 to Boone Pickens was nothing. This isn't $300 million. But I remember then thinking, that is phenomenal. Yeah, and believe me, Florida, Alabama, Illinois, they all had people do it. They all have. I can still remember we did with Illinois. We had 5 people give us 10. But my point is, people love their school so much that they will take their personal money and help them win football games or basketball games.
Yeah, I mean, I just, again, I think about in all of our listeners, they obviously have this moment too. Like, think of how it feels in that first hour. JJ, how'd you feel walking out of the swamp with a 41-17 win?
Oh my God, you don't want to know.
Right. I mean, it's just, if your team, does something magnificent, there is such a joy and euphoria that comes with that. And again, I just don't, like, I can go see a great movie in the theater, or I could go watch a play, or I could, and maybe be, go see an opera and maybe be moved by it or something. But for where I am, I mean, for what I like, nothing beats the Gators doing something incredible.
I get it.
And if I can help that, I'm going to try to help it.
It's a high I've been chasing since I was 11 years old.
And by the way, and I'll say this quickly as we go to break. I've made this point a long time. If your school's big enough with enough alumni and you're passionate enough, you come up with those dollars. Again, I said it many times. There's no chance the endowment at Alabama is as big as the endowment at Harvard or Stanford or probably Rice or Duke for that matter. But the money that those rich boosters do have, it is going to football. Whereas Harvard's money is not going to football. And so it's a very interesting paradigm. We'll take a break. More in a moment. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Get more horsepower under the hood.
Down the backstretch.
Saturday at Richmond.
It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
The best place to get trucks is Nimnick Chevrolet. But did you know Nimnick Chevrolet is way more than just trucks? While most dealerships are running low, Nimnick has the largest inventory of new Chevy SUVs in town right on their lot. With low promotional rates, now is the time to save big on the most popular Chevy SUVs like the all-new redesigned Equinox. Plus, with cash incentives and Nimnick savings, you'll save thousands only at Nimnick. If you're looking for better fuel economy or just need a little more room for your growing family, Nimnick Chevrolet's wide range of models ready to drive means you'll find exactly what you're looking for at Nimnik. So head to Nimnik today. Of course, it's the best place for trucks. When you go to Nimnik, it's way more than trucks. It's great SUVs as well. So hit the Nimnik today. Where's the best place to get cars, trucks, and SUVs? Nobody but Nimnik.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. Went smooth as silk. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
He's not Pistol Pete. He's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast. But Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it too.
And it's not just commercial anymore. 904-356-4821 or coiljacks.com for residential fencing. They can give you 0% financing. They're good folks. They're going to take good care of you. I promise you that. Call Coyle & Sons today for all your fencing. They are the fencing people in Jacksonville. Give them a call. I'm going to get to Jaguars to watch coming up as we start the second hour, but a few minutes left in this hour. I got thinking more about the Shador thing. Is there a chance he's good?
Yes.
Because you liked what you saw, right?
I did. Now it was just one
outing.
I know.
You can only, but you can only evaluate what you saw.
Yeah, but I was expecting not to like him, and I thought he was impressive. And again, it was one outing, and obviously no one's game planning. Very disappointing that he's not going to be able to play against Philadelphia, because I was excited to see if he could follow it up. And he suffered an oblique injury today, so he's probably going to be out for a few days and won't be able to play in that game. So that's a missed opportunity for Shador. But yeah, I mean, I thought he showed some things that translate well to the NFL game in a, again, meaningless preseason game, but some things that I think would pay dividends for him in real games on Sundays.
You know, I thought about this. I thought about, is it a hindrance to him? And it was. All the attention, he did not do well in the interviews. He came off as entitled. He came off as unappreciative. Even this game, he showed up with the posse. He showed up with buddies and friends, and it didn't go over well before he played. But the more I think about it, I think maybe the enormous attention he's always had, and for that matter, Hayes walking around seeing his dad have that attention, maybe serves him well. Because maybe he was calm in that moment. Yeah, I mean, I got to thinking about that. Maybe he was, Liam was talking about Travis Hunter, said everybody gets nervous. Even Travis has as much attention as he's had, wins the Heisman Trophy, everybody watching him, still gets a little nervous for the first game. I went back and watched it. Shador did not look nervous. Now again, it's a preseason game. So maybe, just maybe, and we all made fun of the way people just coronate. He had a coronation because he played one good preseason game. But maybe if it continues, maybe all this leads to a slow heartbeat, which is, gosh, so important in that position in that sport.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it doesn't seem like he's that far off from getting a legitimate chance. I mean, Deshaun Watson's never playing another snap for Cleveland, even if he gets cleared from the Achilles. I think they're going to say,
I think we all agree with that.
We're going to make you an inactive. And at the end of this year, we're going to cut you and we're going to take the massive hit.
Yeah, they wouldn't have 97 quarterbacks on their roster if they were going to give a chance, if they're waiting for their one guy to be available again. That's very clear.
Yeah, so then you go to who's the next option? Well, the next option's Joe Flacco, who's 103 years old. You think, okay, well, what's the option after that? Kenny Pickett, who's terrible. And then you've got two rookies, a third rounder and Dylan Gabriel, who's been injured throughout camp. Although now he looks like he's getting healthy and may play Saturday. So we'll see if Gabriel can go out and kind of, one-up Shador. And then you got Shador. So, I mean, I think it's right. It's convoluted, but I think you're going to see, like in a Scream movie, I think you're going to start to see these established veteran Cleveland quarterbacks sort of falling by the wayside. And I think the path is going to open up for Shador. Now, I don't know that he'll be able to hold it and become their long-term answer. My guess is Cleveland they've got obviously 2 first-round picks in next year's draft because they have the Jaguars selection as well. My guess is they're going to take a quarterback and just restart the whole thing. But I do think that there is a path for Shador. There's no Cleveland's getting ready to play 17 games. There's no chance that Joe Flacco is making it wire to wire, or Kenny Pickett or Dylan Gabriel. Shador is going to get his chance, but he's got to stay healthy, and the oblique thing is certainly a little bit of a concern.
All right, 2 things. Number 1, did Taylor Dahl put you up to the Scream reference to torment me?
No. Okay. I was going to say Agatha Christie, but I figured I'd update my reference to something that.
Okay, I don't believe you. I think Taylor Dahl had something to do with it.
Well, I love Scream too, but no one loves Scream more than Taylor.
No,
so it's definitely
in the history of the world.
Definitely am paying homage to Taylor Dahl.
Second point, this is a serious one. Your point is there's not a man to beat. That's the point. If he was in Indianapolis, even if he looked good, at least for now, Anthony Richardson's still the guy to beat. Now, he may be easy to beat because of his numbers haven't been good, but there's someone to beat.
Yeah, and Shador Sanders wouldn't beat out Daniel Jones, I don't think.
Right. Well, that's right. But my point is there's not a guy in Cleveland. There's not a guy to beat. That's what your point is. So if he's good, there's no resistance. I agree with you. The Deshaun Watson, everything you said, Deshaun Watson's not playing for them anymore. Joe Flacco's a placeholder. Kenny Pickett's no good. The Dylan Gabriel, we don't know, but I don't care where he was drafted. In the minds of the public, he's not ahead of Shador Sanders. I don't care where. So there's no resistance. It'll be interesting to see. I'll tell you what. Cleveland doesn't have a lot of storylines worth watching. They may have the best pass rusher in the league, but nobody watches them to see if Myles Garrett is going to sack somebody. You just don't turn on the TV. Maybe Lawrence Taylor you did, but there's not many times you turn on the TV to see if a guy sacks somebody, right? So this is a storyline that people will watch. It'll be fun to watch. We'll take a break. Hour 2's upcoming. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's tough stuff, and when you lose, it all comes down on you.
1010XL.
When you put it all together and you win, it's the greatest feeling in the world. It's like winning the Super Bowl.
Always in pursuit of greatness.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. You won't want to miss this Saturday at Showtime with our monthly card show. 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You'll have tons of options, especially with football and baseball cards. It's a fun day at our monthly card show this Saturday from 9 to 4 at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Summer is here, and that means it's time to feast on delicious Bono's St. Louis ribs. The small and large rib platters are at a low price to beat the summer heat, and you get 2 southern sides and garlic toast with each platter. It's an unbelievable deal that won't last long, so head to Bono's today to get your St. Louis ribs platter. I'm hungry now just talking about it. Head to Bono's today, and remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
When it comes to my opinion, I love dropping the hammer. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Listen for Hammer Time with Hayes weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Hammer Time with Hayes, driven by Kia on Atlantic. Check us out at KiaOnAtlantic.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at goosehead.com.
Have you ever dreamed of owning a handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm? Well, now you can. Frank Frangie here for the farm at Okefenokee, just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. With only 250 cabins at full build-out, it's a rare chance to live off-grid, but not alone, in a community grounded in nature, food, and purpose. Explore trails, kayak Blackwater creeks, or harvest from your own land. Learn more at okefarm.com. That's OKEfarm.com.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
I'm Frank Frangie, and you've heard me tell you how much success my daughter Amber is having with the Awaken 180 weight loss program. But Amber, maybe it's time you should tell them.
I think they'd rather hear from you, Dad. You're the radio guy.
Yeah, but in this case, you're the one doing all the work.
But that's the thing, Dad. It doesn't feel like work. The food is great. I never feel hungry. My coach, Mary, is so good, so encouraging. If you follow the plan, Awaken 180 really works.
Well, everyone I know that's tried it has said the same thing. The result is people not only look better, but they feel better. I've kind of known you your whole life, and I can tell you feel great.
I feel better than I have in years. I love that part. I feel so good. I have Awaken 180 to thank for that.
So you heard it from my kid, and you can feel great too. Just call 1-844-346-1800. That's 1-844-346-1800, or visit awaken180weightloss.com and start your transformation today.
The team at Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to book your next round of golf with us. At Hidden Hills, we love the game, and we'll provide you with a memorable golf experience at one of the most unique golf courses in North Florida. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air. This weekend's PGA Tour event, the BMW Championship, is the second to last event of the playoffs. The top 50 in the FedEx Cup standings will tee it up tomorrow, with the top 30 advancing to next weekend's Tour Championship. Robbie Snelling will be on the bump for the Jumbo Shrimp tonight with their matchup with the Norfolk Tides at VyStar Ballpark at 7:05. It's 89 degrees at 5:01. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I love the colorful clothes you wear.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it too.
You don't play Good Vibration, just start talking. I don't know what you do.
We've gotten Guns N' Roses, the Beach Boys, and the Rolling Stones from J.J. LaSalva today.
Just wait till headlines, folks.
Oh, I can't wait because I've got some intel.
Yeah.
Okay, it just says
It's a story of reconciliation.
My people tell me, listen, I've got scouts, snoops everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I got people. You know that. I got people, and so I've heard some stuff. All right. So the Jags have a scrimmage tomorrow. It's going to be fun. I ask you this a lot, and I'll ask you this Friday about the game on Saturday. But for now, tomorrow morning will be the scrimmage. It's an important scrimmage. We'll get to see the whole thing. Important for whom, or most important for whom?
I think most important in general, just know where to line up and know how to maintain your stance and not false start. So I think it's more of a team test than an individual test tomorrow, and it's both. But I think Liam Cohen is more concerned about, can we play 20 minutes of football without having 9 penalties and other blunders that have popped up in these last 4 or 5 days. So I think it starts there. I think it's more tomorrow to me is more about the collective than individual battles. And again, not to say there are some important battles. But I think the biggest thing is just it looking cleaner. I mean, it's fine. You can make a mistake here and there. A guy is going to drop a pass every so often. Somebody is going to, have a hold or an interference. But I think it's the penalties that are more just mental that need to be close to perfection tomorrow. Know where to line up. Trevor needs to be decisive, getting to the line, coming out of the huddle. His cadence needs to be good. But the offensive linemen, if it isn't, they can't allow that to be, I false started because the quarterback took too long to do something. There just needs to be a more greater collective. So for me, this is the rare training camp practice where it's more about the macro of the team more than it's about the micro of the battles. But certainly it's going to be important. We've talked about linebacker, safety, defensive tackle. Certainly that offensive line, who are going to be the 5 that we see, running with the starting group. So certainly a lot to get to individually. How do they deploy the running backs? But to me, the greater storyline is, can they look more functional in terms of what's being asked of them than what they have looked going back to the Saturday game against Pittsburgh?
I don't disagree with the big picture. I agree with you. They were sloppy in some areas. The team has to play better than the team played. Even though you're playing against each other, you got to play better. So I agree with that. As for the battles, I think there are some real important ones. I think I'll go through them. That offensive line thing's interesting. I mean, they have to find their 5. I don't get the sense they found their 5 yet. I don't. I think there's, and I think Robert Hainsey's probably their center. I think Ezra Cleveland's probably their left guard. And then I think everything else, the competition's still out there. Walker Little and Anton Harrison look like the tackles, but I think there's still competition there. The right guard, Idoba, has played very well there. McCary was the guy expected to play there. I think there's competition there. I think there's a lot of guys that can play multiple spots. So I think where they land on the offensive front is interesting. I think the running back thing remains interesting. Is tomorrow the day that Bashul Tutin gets more carries with the ones? Is this tomorrow the day that some of the guys who haven't played with the ones very much start to play with the ones a little bit? Where are they on the whole Bigsby ETN thing? I mean, there's only so many plays. At some point, when Carolina comes to town, one of those guys has to be your lead back. Where are they? I don't think they know that yet. How about weak side linebacker? I mean, so far what we have seen is it has been Foye Oluokun, the middle linebacker, and Devin Lloyd, the weak side linebacker. I said it from day one. I thought they would move him to Sam. I was wrong about that. They haven't. Yasir Abdul is their Sam when they're in the base, but I thought they may move him there. So I was wrong. I don't think he's a better player than Ventrell Miller. I just don't. And that's not a Gator thing. I just don't think he's a better player than Ventrell. I just don't. I've been saying that. That's not a new opinion. I felt that way for the longest time. So I think that's interesting. What about the cornerback spot opposite Tyson Campbell when Tyson gets healthy? My guess is it's Jordan Lewis when they're in the base, but when they go nickel, what are they going to do? Is it Travis Hunter? Is it Jarian Jones? It probably would have been Monteric Brown, who was having a pretty good camp, and I'm told should be back by the time the season gets here. So those battles, to me, there's still significance to all those battles. And I think tomorrow, the 3 days that will really go, in my opinion, that will go a long way to deciding some of those answers. Who is running back one? Who is the weak side linebacker? What is the configuration on the offensive front? By the way, defensive tackle. Who are your two defensive tackles? And it's hard to evaluate because they still haven't seen Eric Armstead or Mason Smith. I mean, how do you evaluate if you haven't seen either one of those guys, right? So I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot at play there. I really sense that there's a lot of stuff at play, and we'll continue to evaluate that kind of as we go. So I'm very intrigued by all of that and to see where all that stuff lands. That is very, very intriguing to me. But the 3 dates that matter the most: tomorrow, Sunday, because I do think some of them will play Sunday, and the joint practice with Miami. I don't sense that they're going to play against Miami. I don't sense that you're going to have a joint practice and then run your ones out there. And I don't, again, we're guessing. Yeah, I don't even know if they know yet. But I do sense that
I would be surprised if they played them against Miami.
After having the joint practice together, that would surprise. Typically what teams do is when you have a joint practice, you're not as likely to play your guys. That's almost around I won't say standard around the league, but often happens that way around the league. But I do think tomorrow against New Orleans on Sunday and the joint practice a week from tomorrow against the Dolphins is very critical. So we'll see if it plays out that way. It's going to be. I will tell you this: there's a lot of spots left to be earned and a lot of work to be done, and they're 3 weeks from the season. You know, I will say that. Well, and I think they would tell you.
And that's the thing too. Like, let's just look at the offensive line. Like, Blue and I were talking about this on Duval Rundown this morning. Like, there's no health issues with the offensive line now that McCary is back. So you got to figure out your five. I mean, it's one thing, like, I understand it not knowing interior defensive tackle because you've been hamstrung with the injuries to Armstead and Smith. But offensive line-wise, you know, McCary missed a few days, but it's not like he missed all of camp and just got back. You now need to kind of pick your five, and they need to start working together. So I don't know that it starts tomorrow, but I would hope that after tomorrow they know their five, and then that needs to be the five so that they've got a few weeks to build some type of cohesiveness before they're out there in week one. So that, I think, is gigantic tomorrow, is what does the offensive line look like, the starting five, and is Liam Cohen willing to say, this is the crystallized starting five, barring injury, moving forward, but this is the five, this is how we're viewing it, because at some point, you've got to wrap that up, and I think that point has come.
All right, let's take a break. We got headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He's our big hitter.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Tom McManus.
He tackles Jags talk from a middle linebacker's point of view. Fridays on 1010XL. Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie, and I got to tell you, I can't fix anything. I would be so lost with plumbing problems if not for Duck Duck Rooter. But everybody knows to call the Duck. Well, I do too. Whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, septic, they handle all of it, and nobody does a better job than our friends at Duck Duck Rooter. Any of those needs you have, call them today, 904-862-6769, or go to duckduckrooter.com. If you've got problems, call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll handle it. I guarantee it.
Right now at Beard's Diamonds, pay $0 down and get 0 interest financing for 5 whole years. Yes, you heard it right. That $12,000 designer engagement ring is yours now for just $200 a month. This makes everything affordable. How about a $6,000 diamond eternity band, just $100 a month? Say goodbye to high interest rates. Get the relief you deserve at Beard's Diamonds. But hurry, this incredible offer ends August 31st and will not be extended. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, only $50 a month? Make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with zero down and zero interest financing. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, colored gemstone jewelry. Let our non-commissioned experts at Beard's help you find the perfect piece of jewelry and take advantage of our best financing offer ever. Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center, Jacksonville's premier locally owned jeweler. Shop now and enjoy zero interest financing for 5 years. Hurry, this amazing offer ends August 31st. On approved credit, some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
XL Primetime is back weekdays noon to 2, and on Wednesdays, join Dr. George Bari at 1:20 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Make sure you catch Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime Wednesdays at 1:20 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a fight for the last slice of pizza? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Tailgaters parking season passes are on sale now. Secure your Jaguar season parking today. Enjoy indoor restrooms, a full-service bar and grill, access 4 hours before kickoff. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and book your space today.
Beer, water, beer. That's a pretty good game plan when it comes to battling the summer heat. When you hit the beach, fishing hole, or golf course, make sure you hydrate. Anheuser-Busch is always up for a good time. Just remember to drink responsibly.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. If you have a school, team, or group that would benefit from a team store, you're in luck because we now offer team stores. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
We sure do appreciate our friends at Harrell & Harrell. I'll be over there Friday for our annual kickoff luncheon. Really excited about that. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start with the Jaguars. I'm going to ask you, are you ready to see Bashal Tootin get some work with the first team when Liam Cohen conducts the scrimmage tomorrow?
I am. I want to, at some point, there's a belief that they've got something there. And you're not going to know until we get to see him with the first team. But I think what makes it difficult is I think they've got two good backs ahead of him. I mean, I think it's not like you got this really good rookie and there's nobody there. And so it's just a matter of when you put him in there because you know he's better than the other two guys. He may turn out to be better than the other two guys, but I'm not sure he's there yet. So I'm really interested to see what happens with that spot. I don't think LaQuinn Allen's got much of a chance to start, although I think he's going to be on the team. But I think the other three guys are going to battle for that spot, so I want to see that competition.
Let's get to around the NFL. We have another example of a core tenet of football, dubbed "The Browns Can't Have Nice Things." Shador Sanders suffered an oblique injury in practice and will be out for Saturday's preseason game against Philadelphia.
And that's a big deal for him to be out. He's one guy that has to find a way to play. He has got to find a way to be on the field. Again, he was very impressive. The last thing he needs is one of the 74 quarterbacks they have in camp. Gabriel probably first and foremost, because he's the guy that might be the Deshaun Watson isn't the guy. Kenny Pickett's not the guy. Joe Flacco's old. Dylan Gabriel's out there playing when he's not. That doesn't help Shador.
Without a doubt, the Bills give running back James Cook a 4-year, $48 million extension with $30 million guaranteed. The 25-year-old Cook gained over 1,200 yards of total offense with 18 touchdowns last season.
What does my friend Pete Prisco say? They always show up. No matter how many people hold out, off-season, mini camp, you get closer. You get paid when that's it. You get your checks when that season starts, Hayes. They all show up.
Well, and this is a great deal. I mean, for James Cook. I mean, to get you get the $30 million in guaranteed money and certainly a good average per. It's a good deal for both sides, but that certainly will help stabilize Buffalo's backfield. Let's get it to college football. Happy birthday to Gators quarterback BJ Lagway. The sophomore turns 20 years old today.
How about that? He's not a teenager anymore.
Nope.
How about Lagway turns 20? Is he healthy? Is he having a birthday party?
Yeah, maybe birthday cake.
Is he having a party?
I would think.
You gotta have a party, don't you?
I would think it's Spurrier's tonight up in the championship room.
Does he drive the Lamborghini to the party? That's what I want to know.
Why?
If I had a Lamborghini, I'm driving it to the party.
Right, exactly.
Happy birthday to DJ.
Absolutely. We talked about this earlier. Kansas alum David Booth gives $300 million to the athletics program. One of the biggest gifts in collegiate athletics history. What a big day for the Jayhawks.
It amazes me. And again, JJ made a really good point. We talked about this earlier. The guy's very philanthropic anyway. It's not just all of his money goes to a football team. He's got a bunch of it. But it still amazes me, and I love it. It doesn't puzzle me. It doesn't bother me. I love it because I love college football so much. But when I sit back and think the amount of millions that men give to see their football team play better is amazing stuff.
Let's get to Major League Baseball. Pete Alonso breaks the Mets' career home run record in a 13-5 win over Atlanta last night. The former Gators star has 253 homers, surpassing Darryl Strawberry. The 30-year-old Alonso is a 5-time All-Star for the Mets.
Well, here's the thing. He's a free agent again. He signed a 1-year deal. But assuming he just keeps on signing with the Mets, how much is he going to pull away from Straw and the rest of those? And the Mets have had some good players. He's ahead now. He's 30. He's going to hit. I'm telling you, the Polar Bear is going to hit home runs till he's 40. He's going to be like Kyle Schwarber. If nothing else happens, he's going to. Kyle Schwarber and Pete Alonso were the two guys. JJ, tell me if you agree with this. They're the two guys most likely to elevate the ball, launch angle guys, and that's why they hit so much. They're the two best launch angle guys in baseball, I think. You know what I mean? They hit high fly home runs, Schwarber and Alonso.
Yeah, Schwarber, I think, is on a different level than the Polar Bear. But yes, I thought it was hilarious that was their team record, by the way. 230-something is like the all-time record for the Mets. You don't think that's crazy?
I thought it was low too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they haven't been around for 150 years.
I'm trying to think who have been their home run hitters. I mean,
Piazza and Wright.
Piazza was there for a while.
Piazza was there for a while.
He stopped by.
David Wright injuries killed him.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
But I mean, even in the old days with Tommy Agee and Cleon Jones, and then the Strawberry run, there weren't a lot of home run hitters.
Like power guys.
Keith Hernandez wasn't a home run hitter. You know, they were. I mean, when the amazing Mets in 1969 didn't have a lot of home run hitters. They just haven't had that.
Yeah, somebody tweeted out the list, and like Gary Carter is on it.
Yeah,
which I don't even think of as
a Met
playing.
Think of him as an Expo.
Yeah, and he's like in the top 10.
Yeah. They just haven't had a lot of bombers. They really haven't.
They have not. The Brewers routed the Pirates 14-0 for an 11th straight win last night. Milwaukee is 27-5 in its last 32 games and have opened up a 7.5 game lead in the NL Central. And oh, by the way, the Brewers lead the Pirates 12-5 in the 9th. So they're going to get a 12th straight win. Milwaukee has had 2 different winning streaks this season of at least 11 games.
27-5 in Major League Baseball.
So now 28-5.
In Major League Baseball to go 28-5, and I told you this will also be 51-16 since they were 25-28. You just don't do that in baseball. I'll tell you what, JJ, I've watched all these games. Today I didn't because I was here, but I've watched these games. Man, they're good.
I watched last night.
Yeah,
and their bats were phenomenal. I know we're about to talk about it, what they did to Skeens, but to do it against Skeens and Keller in back-to-back nights, like 2 of the best pitchers in the National League, is very impressive.
Skeens and Keller, and they got double digits both games.
Yeah, Pittsburgh ace Paul Skeens only lasted 4 innings last night, giving up 4 runs to fall to 7-9 on the season. His 2.13 ERA still does lead Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he didn't have it last night. He actually couldn't
from the first batter.
Yeah, right. He couldn't get it. Well, he couldn't get his breaking ball over, so he's grooving fastballs. He gave up 3 home runs. He gave up. I don't think he'd given up a first inning run all year, and he gave up more. But
wow,
he hadn't given up first inning run all year. But I'm just, what I do wonder about. Now he's the ultimate pro. But were you watching last night, JJ?
Oh, I watched the whole game.
I'm watching. He seemed annoyed.
Yeah.
He seemed annoyed by all of it.
It certainly didn't help that the leadoff hitter took him out.
Right. He seemed very unskeens-like. I just wonder how all this losing and being on such a terrible team, and everyone knows they're not getting better next year.
Like it affects his mental in any way.
I mean, he's as mentally tough as he is, you got to wonder if that's in play.
Without a doubt, let's get into golf. The PGA Tour playoff heads to Owings Mills for the BMW Championship, the second of 3 events. Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy headline the field of 50 players. 30 players will advance to the Tour Championship, and this is interesting. Xander Schauffele is currently in the 40s.
Right.
So he needs to play well this week just to get into the Tour Championship.
Yeah, he barely made the 50 last week. You're exactly right. Owings Mills is just outside of Baltimore, and this is a big event. This is a big event as we come down the stretch in the golf season.
Let's get it to pop culture because on this date, back in 1982, this happened.
Cubans were in a constant state of revolt. In 1904, the United States decided to throw a little weight around and, who is it?
The pizza guy.
Again?
Mr. Pizza Guy, sir. Order the deviled cheese and sausage. Right here, dude.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you are doing?
Learning about Cuba, having some food.
Mr. Spicoli, you're on dangerous ground here. You're causing a major disturbance on my time.
I've been thinking about this, Mr. Hand. If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time? Certainly there's nothing wrong with a little feast on our time.
If I'm here and you're here, doesn't it make it our time? Maybe my favorite moment. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Let me stop.
Maybe line. Yeah. Not moment.
Not my favorite moment.
A couple better moments.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Right. There were a couple better moments in that, but that was a funny line.
Fast Times.
Right when it's coming out of my mouth, I had to make it.
I saw it.
The movie still holds up. Still makes me laugh. It's just phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. Released today back in 1982. Unbelievable. Became a cult classic. Sean Penn, Phoebe Cates, Judge Reinhold, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Forrest Whitaker among all the guys in it. And we will get you out.
Stu, like I told the guy on ABC, danger is my business.
That's right. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. All the legal entanglements have ended, and peace has been found. Hall and Oates have finally resolved their legal battle.
When does the tour start? When do they come to? I want them to come to Daly's place
for 4 nights,
and the arena, and the stadium. This will be the first concert ever that goes Daly's, ViStar, Everbank. That's my recommendation.
Love it. This is
Hallelujah.
You Make My Dreams Come True by Hall & Oates.
Thank God. Hall & Oates.
They still hate each other, but at least the legal dispute.
Just go play together.
Yeah, exactly.
Like each other.
Just get out there and play for 2 hours and then go your separate ways.
We'll take a break. My friend Kevin Kaplan's here. Our medical report is next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell and Harrell.
Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent, Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
Tired of high energy bills? Replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now. It's Renewal by Anderson's triple savings month. Get $300 off windows and $825 off patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires August 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Hey, it's Joe C. When was the last time you flushed out your water heater? Flushing a water heater each year improves its efficiency and extends its lifespan. So call Roland Reese Plumbing for a routine water heater flush out and any other plumbing needs. 260-7059. Roland Reese Plumbing.
Attention sports fans. Are you ready to take your game to the next level? Look no further than Best Bet. You can bet anywhere, but you'll definitely win here. Experience the thrill of sports like never before. With all the big games broadcasting live on our big screens and a menu stacked with your favorite foods and refreshing drinks, you're sure to find your winning ticket. Bet anywhere, win here, only at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Put a little hot sauce on your lunchtime listening. Spicy. Joe Coward, Matt Hayes, and Leon Searcy. They are XL Prime Time.
Or alarm fired.
From the big number one Duval Ford Studios. Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, every day feels like the weekend. Fresh, never frozen chicken wings, tossed in over 30 bold flavors, paired with ice-cold beer and handcrafted cocktails, all in a laid-back, beachy atmosphere. And with every game on the big screens, it's the ultimate escape, and you're home for sports, too. Great food, cold drinks, and all the games. That's Hurricane Grill and Wings. Escape the ordinary and find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Hacker here. You know, those of you that have listened to me for years realize that I used to do a lot of different weight loss things, a lot of different things that I tried that just never worked for one reason or the other. And then Awaken 180 Weight Loss came along, and I heard Mike Dempsey and Matt Hayes talking about it, and I thought, you know what? What the heck? What do I have to lose? I'm going to give it a try. I had low expectations, to be honest, based on previous history, but I learned very quickly that Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the best weight loss program I was ever on. I dropped 19 pounds my first 2 weeks on Awaken 180 Weight Loss, went on to lose over 100 pounds total. I'm keeping the weight off with the Awaken 180 Weight Loss Maintenance Program. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best weight loss program I have ever been on, and the results speak for themselves. If it's time for you to lose some weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. You can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it, too.
We appreciate our friends from Coyle & Sons, the best fence company around. I'm telling you, give them a call now, whether it's residential fencing, whether it's commercial. 904-356-4821, or you can log on to Coyle Jacks. That's C-O-Y-L-E, CoyleJacks.com. Kevin Kaplan is here. How many surgeries today?
Did 10 today.
10 in one day.
Yeah.
10 in one day.
Great day.
That's amazing.
It's not, and 10 I told you that during the break. It's not like he mowed 10 lawns today. I mean, to do 10 major surgeries in one day.
Do you get like a lot of blood on you after like you've done 10 of them, or how does that?
Thankfully, a lot of this it's arthroscopic, right?
Okay.
So small incisions with the camera, and a lot of
blood everywhere.
So it's like a minimum.
Do you have to wash do you have to wash the blood off?
Yeah. I'm just curious.
That
It's not the Civil War. I've seen one too many horror movies.
I think you have.
Yeah, that is awesome. So, obviously the Jaguars obviously seem to be a mostly healthy team, right? How much of that time if people don't know, Kevin Kaplan is the Jaguars team doctor. How much of your week, like in camp, Kevin, is spent with the Jags, around the Jags? And I guess it depends, assuming there's no major catastrophic stuff.
Yeah, it's very busy. I try to be there every padded practice, you know, and other practices as well. I mean, I was there yesterday. Today it was, a day off, obviously, so it happened to be my surgery day. Camp's a little bit more unpredictable than the regular season. But I'm there, almost every day when they're at camp. Things come up, and we know this is a rough sport, and guys, either you get dehydrated or have cramps or have little strains, and so I'm there. Fergie likes me being there as much as possible, especially when we're in pads. I'll be there again tomorrow. Friday's a surgery day, and that's going to be a little bit lighter before we travel to New Orleans, and obviously I'll travel with the team to go there and be there for the game.
We were talking about Shador Sanders having an oblique. How big of a span of your midsection does the oblique sort of cover, and for a quarterback, how detrimental can that be?
Yeah, so it covers both sides. I mean, you have your ribs, then you have the muscles between the ribs, and all the muscles that involve your abdominal musculature. And so, for a guy that's a quarterback that twists and turns a lot, that's going to be an issue, right? If it's an offensive or defensive lineman, it can hurt, but it's going to be less of an issue than someone that needs to turn their body in order to generate force. So I saw that, obviously came across on ESPN, and I'm concerned about how long that's going to take him to get better. Depends on how bad the strain is, just like any muscle, whether it's hamstring or quad or calf.
Do they put a grade on that like they do like hamstrings?
You can. If they get an MRI, you can certainly see it. We grade, radiologists will grade muscle strains on how significant the injury is. So it's typically grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. So grade 1, you may see some inflammation in the muscle. Grade 2, you may see some muscle fiber separation, and grade 3 is a bigger area where you see a complete separation. And obviously, the higher the grade, the worse it is, and the longer the time to return to play. So whenever I get MRIs on players, I try to give the guys at the stadium, Ferg and coach and general manager and Tony, an idea of what I think is going to be the length of time.
Kevin, is an oblique more likely with a golfer or a baseball player or someone that twists and torque? Is that not more likely? Football has more injuries, but you know what I mean. Is that something that would happen to those guys?
It can. We see it a lot more in the contact athlete just because of the force generation, right?
Okay, so it's not. So they don't hurt it twisting; they hurt it getting hit.
Well, both, right? They may be twisting and getting hit. I think we see it. You see golfers that get these oblique strains if they're torquing a lot, but they're also not getting impacted at the same time or trying to run away from something at the same time. So you can see it in all sports. It's just, for these guys, especially the throwers, is where it's more of a problem than, an offensive lineman or a big guy. But same thing in a wide receiver or a defensive back, someone that needs to turn and torque their body, that may limit them for a period of time.
I was going to ask you about different core injuries. Anything like in the middle, certainly oblique. What is a sports hernia?
So sports hernia is kind of a misnomer. When we use the word hernia, that means kind of an outpouching. So we all think of inguinal hernias and hernias where, there's a little break in the stomach lining or the front musculature that allows some of the, it's kind of grotesque, but your intestine to come out a little bit.
You can see it. There's a bulge.
You can see it. It's a bulge. Whereas, a sports hernia, it really is more of a core muscle injury. And what we mean by that is your abdominal muscles come from the top down and attach to your pelvic bones. And then your groin muscles start in the pelvis and go down your leg. So where those two areas meet, they're really pulling opposite to each other. The rectus is pulling up and the groin muscles are pulling down. So if you get a little separation of those, that's what the quote unquote sports hernia is. It's really just a core muscle injury. And the problem is it's extremely painful on that pelvic bone because those fascial connections or where those two connect is actually, you could see it on MRI, are pulling apart. And that's when guys start complaining of pain when they go to sit up or when they cough or when they sneeze because they're just pulling those muscles apart. And it makes it really hard for a guy to run and cut and turn because of that pain.
What's the surgery? What do you do?
So what they do is they actually go in and they try to reattach those fascial components. So they little incision. It's actually general surgeons that do this, not orthopedic surgeons, but they go in and try to reattach those connections and reinforce them. And it's very reliable. It takes 2 or 3 months usually to come back from something like that, but it's not necessarily season ending, obviously, depending on when we see those types of injuries.
We hear about torn pectoral muscle. How hard is it to tear the pectoral muscle, and is that more of a weightlifting thing, or can you do that in the scope of playing sports?
Both. I've had actually some scenarios. I had one patient of mine who was bench pressing 315, went down, pushed up, and he felt the pop in his right pec, and so the bar started coming down, and he pushed up with his left arm, and he popped both.
Wow!
Really? Oh yeah. It was. You don't see a lot of those, but you can see it from benching. We see a lot from that. But when these guys are tackling, a perfect example years back was Paul Posluszny, who during a game went to tackle with his arm outstretched, got caught, and then boom, and he came off the sideline and said, "I feel detached," and then sure enough it was. So that can happen in tackling and get your arm reached out and you're pulling at the same time. You can pop the pec.
Hey, that happens when you bench press 350.
Oh, yeah, of course. Right. One-handed.
One-handed.
When 25 reps.
Just warm up. Just warm up.
When you're warming up with your 315. Yeah. What about rib injuries? Are they prevalent in the same way? I'm trying to lump all the whole core stuff together. Are they a lot of those?
We do see a lot of those, and you can see rib injuries all the way from, they start in your back and they wrap around all the way to the front. And most of those are contact type injuries. And those are just extremely painful because everything you do involves those muscles between the ribs. So if you breathe, sneeze, cough, get up, turn, you're going to feel the rib. You can try to do things like injections in the ribs. There's obviously an inherent risk. We saw an issue with it with Tyrod Taylor in the past where, so I typically try to avoid doing injections in places where I don't normally do injections. So it's just an injury that does heal, but it just takes time to heal. If guys that get in car accidents that we see in our office, that they have a shoulder injury and 3 rib injuries, it's the rib injuries that hurts worse than the shoulder injury.
Yeah, people say a cracked rib really hurts. I mean, I've heard that. They say it really hurts.
There's nothing you can do without using your ribs. And when you walk, talk, turn, twist, everything you do involves the rib.
Since we talked to you last, we saw Anthony Richardson get sacked and his finger started pointing towards Brazil. What's the level of concern with something like that with a quarterback if it's non-throwing hand? And Jordan Love also is having, I believe, thumb surgery on his non-throwing hand, but the Packers don't seem to be overly concerned about it.
Yeah, so obviously X-ray is important to make sure there's no bony injury there. Most of the time when you see a dislocation like that, it's a ligamentous injury, and so most ligaments will heal, especially in the finger. So the biggest concern there is for him getting the snap, right, and handing the ball off, and someone hitting his hand, and ball security, I think, would be the number one concern. God forbid if that happened to one of our players, that would be what I was concerned about. But again, you could buddy tape it, you can wear special splints to keep things more stable. It will still hurt because it takes ligaments, a good 8 to 10 weeks to really heal themselves. But there are ways around that in a non-throwing.
So they're both still going to be feeling this, even though they're playing through it. But they will be feeling it through October probably.
Absolutely, no question. And I'm sure they're going to splint it, tape it. They're going to do everything to get it secure. And they'll probably be taking some anti-inflammatory medications to help with discomfort and inflammation.
Have you put guys, maybe not quarterback, but linebackers, have you put them in that little club thing?
Absolutely.
You've had that a lot.
Absolutely.
Explain how that works.
So certain injuries where you don't want their fingers or hand exposed, you put them in a club because then that protects their hand. The problem with...
So what is it like a cast?
It is.
It's like really like a hard, like it's a cast.
It's a hard shell basically protecting the entire hand. So certain injuries that may be in, let's say, the palm of your hand, if you put a cast on that may not go as long as your fingers, if there's a cast that goes only up to, say, your knuckles, imagine landing on that with a cast there, you can actually create another injury, right? So you can break above it or you can break below it. So the best way is, unfortunately, is to put them in a club that protects their entire hand and eventually get them out of the club into something smaller.
In terms of getting back to the core, what are some things that professional athletes do, but also average Joes can try and do to strengthen those muscles?
Yeah, so it starts with flexibility. I think, as we talked about, the forces are diametrically opposite, right? One's pulling north, one's pulling south. So working on flexibility, I mean, we all have that problem. I preach to my patients all the time, you need to get more flexible. You need to get in the gym, you need to do yoga. You know what I don't do? getting getting stretch and yoga, but and I'm tight, right? But
by the way, I've been one of your patients all the time. I'm not going to do yoga either. So please continue.
But if you did, there used to be a yoga place right near our old office, and that I used to go there before work, and I've never felt so good when I was flexible, right? So you're as we all get older, our bodies tighten, our muscles tighten, and that makes it harder for us to get loose and to limber up, and puts us at risk for injuries if we're playing pickleball, if we're running around with the kids. If things are tighter, you're going to strain something. So I think flexibility, number one, and then obviously working on a core strengthening program, your abdominal muscles, your lower extremity muscles, and getting those muscles strong at the same time.
I'm actually one thing as we wrap here, but Kevin's going to be with us every Wednesday, and I want to talk about different injuries, mostly that we see on the football field. We haven't, you and I haven't talked about the Guardian helmets, but I want to talk about that. Next time you come in, I really want to talk about the Guardian helmets and the CTE concerns that are more prevalent now than they've ever been. But you said something earlier. You said injections. Is that more of a thing than it's been? Pain management, is that because I've had it. You've sent me to have it with Rob Severies, our friend who's so good at that, but who's also orthopedic specialist of Jacksonville, by the way. But I don't remember that was a thing before. Is that a new? Am I wrong to think that's a newer thing?
Well, injections, they have a place. You got to be careful with what you're injecting and when you're injecting it. So cortisone certainly has a place as an anti-inflammatory in things like backs and lumbar discs and cervical disc herniations, things like that. In terms of knee joints, shoulder joints, elbow joints, now we're going more towards biologics. So using your own body's ability to heal, and that's things like platelet-rich plasma,
right,
where we're taking the patient's own blood, spinning it down and getting the platelets, and then using that as the body's natural anti-inflammatory. It's been around for a long time. It's just become a lot more popular these days, especially with athletes and their agents who know, the cortisone, if you use it over and over again in a joint, it can deteriorate that joint. So we want to prolong their ability to play, have a long career, but we also want to help them with their inflammation and discomfort. And that's where these types of injections come along, even with hamstrings and calf strains. What the literature is showing that it can allow a patient or a player to return to play a little bit quicker than they otherwise would have. And so 1 week, as we all know, is extremely important in things like the NFL.
Kevin Kaplan, team doctor for the Jaguars. He's with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville. Quick 30 seconds. Tell me about orthopedic specialists. How's it going? Good?
Excellent. We're super busy and taking care of our patients, getting patients in as quick as we can. And we just enjoy taking care of the community and raising the bar in orthopedics in Jacksonville.
Orthopedic specialist of Jacksonville. You can find it online. Again, 10 surgeries today. It's not like painting 10 houses.
That's amazing.
10 surgeries today.
And very little blood.
No blood. I will see you on the plane on Saturday. Thanks, Kev. We appreciate it. Back in a moment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
PGA Tour beginning the BMW Championship on Thursday at Caves Valley Golf Club. It's in Owing Mills, Maryland. It is the second event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Keegan Bradley won the BMW Championship last year in Colorado. World number one Scotty Scheffler, the betting favorite. He is at plus 250 to capture the tournament. Rory McIlroy, who skipped last week at the FedEx Championship in Memphis, is plus 750. Xander Schauffele plus 1,800 to win the tournament. Ludwig Oberg plus 2,000. Patrick Cantlay also plus 2,000. Tommy Fleetwood and Cameron Young are both plus 2,500. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Got a clogged drain that just won't quit? It's time to bring in the pros. Duck Duck Rooter.
I called Duck Duck Rooter for a clogged kitchen drain. They showed up fast and had it cleared in no time. No mess, no stress.
We've seen it all. Grease clogs, hairballs, mystery goo from the deep. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, or Beaver Mitsubishi in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you and our teachers. Jaguars.
For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has proudly served Jacksonville from the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard. From archery to hunting and fishing, they've got the gear, service, and know-how to get you outdoor ready. Stop by their full-service archery pro shop and check out their wide selection of firearms. And while you're there, sign up for their weekly concealed weapon classes. You can find it all at greenacressporting.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here for Big Chief Tires. If you need new tires, Big Chief has affordable options to fit every budget and every vehicle. Their team of experts will help you find the right tires and make sure they're installed quickly so you can get back on the road. But don't wait. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and explore their great tire deals. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Cross are here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale. Up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery with the purchase of any smart bed. Ends Monday. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Now, we've talked a great deal today about the Jaguars, who needs to play well, who can benefit. Again, big scrimmage tomorrow morning. It's going to be a scrimmage. And I mean a real scrimmage, and it'll be fun watching that and seeing how the Jags have performed 3 days before they head to New Orleans or play in New Orleans in their second of 3 preseason games. We'll certainly talk about that tomorrow on the shows to come, too. But we talked about it today. We talked about Shador Sanders. What chance does he have, and will he be a good player for the Browns? He's hurt right now. We certainly talked about that. Kevin Kaplan stopped by to talk about the medical issues that affect the world of sports. And, of course, our friend Brett Hastings was by with Sports in Court, so it was a busy show today. As it always is. We talked about the $300 million that David Booth gave Kansas as well. So busy show, a lot of stuff going on. All right, tomorrow morning we'll see a scrimmage. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day, and I think it's going to tell us a lot about Liam Cohen and his where he kind of finds their progress and what he is looking to get out of them tomorrow. I expect it will be really physical. Again, and this is the other great thing about Liam Cohen. If he hadn't said anything, we would just be assuming that tomorrow is just sort of a standard practice.
Right.
It wouldn't really have any sort of special connotation to it. We would just all sort of be going. I mean, you'd expect it to be somewhat physical because they were off Wednesday.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't necessarily be thinking heightened importance. And I appreciate the fact that the head coach said, this is a big day.
Yeah.
And we are going to scrimmage. And, you know, again, we'll see how he lays out that practice plan. But I think absolutely it's going to be and it's a later start. So the heat could be a little bit of a factor, which is good. You're going to be playing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was fine to start at 8 o'clock when you started training camp, but now you probably do need to start introducing the heat a little bit more. So 9:45 start tomorrow. It will be cooking.
That's a good point about his transparency. He could have just said another practice, but he wanted to. We know it now, and I think smart coaches. I was with Liam today. Spent a little time with him. He's a smart guy, man. He really is. And I think smart coaches know how to sometimes talk to their team through the media. I think that's one way you can. And I think he wanted the word out there that tomorrow's important. And I think by telling the media gathering that the way he did a few days ago, he sent the message. This is important because it is important. And I think again, I think there's for some of these jobs, in my opinion, for some of these jobs that have not yet been decided, I think there's 3 more critical days. I think tomorrow is a very critical day. I think Sunday in New Orleans is a critical day. And I think the joint practice with the Miami Dolphins in Miami a week from tomorrow is an important day. I would be very surprised if many people play against the Dolphins. I expect that they will play against New Orleans a little bit. I'd be surprised if they play against the Dolphins. It doesn't mean I'm right because who knows, but I think the 3 significant days upcoming are tomorrow morning scrimmage, Sunday when the Jaguars play the New Orleans Saints on the road in preseason game number 2, and next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, when they practice with the Miami Dolphins, which I think will be a significant practice, and I'm looking forward. I'll be at that practice, and I'm looking forward to that. I'll actually be at the practice that morning in Miami, and then I'll be with you. I'll be down there. You'll be here. I'll be doing the show from Miami from 2 o'clock that day. So we'll be on 2 to 4 that day. So I look forward to that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Scrimmage comes up tomorrow, and a lot of Jaguar football coming up. Hard to believe college football is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Week 0 is 10 days away.
That's right.
You realize that?
And then we get the big one, the big weekend.
Week 1.
There's no easing into this season.
Yeah, week 1's a really good week.
And it has been like that now for the last 3 or 4 years. That's been a trend that I think we've all really enjoyed. And, and again, it's arguably the greatest week 1 slate that we've seen in decades.
You can't beat 1 versus 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When preseason number 1 is an underdog in their first game, you've got a pretty good opening week.
Well, look, I mean, all 3 teams around here play Blue Bloods. I mean, FSU plays Alabama. Yeah. Miami plays Notre Dame. And the Gators play Long Island.
That's right.
I mean, you got to be ready to play Long Island for God's sake.
Sharks.
Long Island's is that who they are?
I have no idea.
Long Island's coming home. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Long Island comes calling Gainesville.
Long Island serial killers.
Whatever they are.
Right? He almost made it. He was kind of like the Zodiac Killer. Jack the Ripper. Those are the only 2 you can think of who were never caught.
Yeah. How about that?
That's right.
Somehow with Ballou, it always gets to that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm looking for happiness and warmth.
You are. Okay? Big scrimmage tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to it.
You know what? I am as excited about this tomorrow as I have been about any practice in years.
Same.
And you know that I love practice. So Hayes and I had a long conversation about it today on Duval Rundown. We think differently about what will happen tomorrow leading into the game on Sunday, but this is what makes it really interesting. So I think tomorrow's going to be a blast.
I do too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think I told Hayes this. I think there's 3 big days left for position battles. Tomorrow, the New Orleans game, and the joint practice in Miami.
Oh yeah,
I think those 3 for me are going to be. All right, what's coming up?
So we got all that. Just kind of what I think you need to look for tomorrow. As far as both the offense and the defense, what they want to get out of this scrimmage, do want to kind of get through some of these position battles and talk about where I think they are right now. And I also want to, I never do a projection as far as the 53, but I want to look at those final spots and possibly a couple of IR candidates and how I think all of that is going to shape up and, possibly go into the waiver wire for a player or 2. So that's all coming up tonight.
All right, comes up tonight. Rick Ballou goes into the night. That is right now. That'll do it for our program. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock, we'll tell you what we saw at the scrimmage. 2 to 4 is when our show is on tomorrow, so we look forward to talking to you then. We're out.